Good afternoon. My name is Laneris Fuentes, and I will be talking about Huntington's disease. As you can see, there's a picture of a normal brain and a person that has Huntington disease. The frontal horns are deteriorating. What is Huntington disease? It's a neurodegenerative hereditary brain disorder that results in uncontrolled movements, emotional problems, and loss of the ability to think. It's caused by a mutation in HTT gene found on chromosome 4, and the gene will have an abnormal large number of CAG, nucleotide repeats. The HTT genes gives instruction for making Huntington proteins and is found in neurons and is involved in chemical signaling, transporting substances, and attaching to proteins. The larger the number of triplets repeats, the earlier the person will develop this disease. The gene for this disease is dominant, which means that it will express itself strongly than the other part of the gene. That will be the recessive. Symptoms. Symptoms will get progressively worse, and they're characterized as movement disorders, cognitive disorders, and psychiatric disorders. Movement disorders are involuntary movement, muscle problems such as stiff muscles, abnormal eye movement, balance, problems with speech and swallowing. Cognitive disorders will be difficulty focusing on tasks and learning new information. Psychiatric disorders will be irritability, insomnia, and frequent thoughts of suicide. Diagnosis. There are few diagnoses that can be done, and they are neurological examination. Neurologists will do some tests to examine motor symptoms, sensory symptoms, and psychiatric symptoms. The motor symptoms will be reflexes, muscle strength, and balance. Sensory symptoms will be sense of touch, vision, and hearing. Psychiatric symptoms will be mood and mental status, and neuropsychological tests will examine memory, reason, language skills, and mental agility. There are some tests, such as the psychiatric evaluation, and that will examine the emotional state, patterns of behavior, and signs of disordered thinking. There are imaging tests that will be MRI and CT scans that will show how deteriorated the brain is. Treatment. There is no treatment to reverse or stop this disease, but there are some medication that can help with the symptoms. Medication for movement disorders will be tetrabenazine and deutetrabenazine. Medication for psychiatric disorders will be antidepressants such as citalopram and escitalopram. Psychotherapy will help with behavioral problems. Speech therapy will help with the ability to speak. And physical therapy will help with the flexibility and balance. Relation to the class. Huntington disease, it affects the nervous system, but specifically the central nervous system. The mutant Huntington protein accumulates in brain cells, and the tissue dies, resulting in a massive degeneration of the basal nuclei, that's the purple part, and then to the cerebral cortex, it will affect awareness, communication. In hypothalamus, it will affect emotions. Medulla oblongata will affect swallowing, and in cerebellum will affect movements, balance, and posture. In other words, the relation to the class is that the professor taught us that the central nervous system is composed of all of the parts of the brain. And in this disease, they affect some of the parts. Why are you interested in Huntington's disease? I'm interested in this disease because there are many people that are not well informed, and this will serve as a reference to how to identify this disease. And also, I'm interested in seeing how one affected part can affect the entire central nervous system, and how dangerous this disease or the conditions of the nervous system are. What current research is being done in Huntington disease? There are few current research that have been done. Some of them are neurobiology. Researchers are starting to determine how Huntington disease is caused in the human body by studying the anatomy of the nervous system. Clinical trials, such as throughout the US and worldwide, they help to understand the symptoms and how to develop new treatments. The fetal tissue research, they are implanting fetal tissues in rodents and other animals to try to correct the nerve cell degeneration. And imaging tests, they are to visualize what the defective gene affects the structure of the brain. Why is this important? And what are some major takeaways you want your audience to have regarding this topic? This is important because we need to be aware how dangerous degenerative disease or disorders are to the human body. And also, I want people to know that if they have family with defective genes, they will need to do follow-ups to check if they have inherited genes. There are ways to help people with this disease, and if someone is experiencing symptoms, it's better to seek for help. These are my reference, and I hope you like my presentation. Thank you.